Hello, I'm making a introduction to the next video because it got deleted accidentally. I just happened to be here at my work area, but the next video is on my 66 four-door, so I'm just using this as an example. But basically I'm going to cover how the water, even in a perfect situation, let's say there's no rust and this seam here where the windshield goes is operating correctly. The question is, how does the water get on the floor pans to rot them out? And we're going to point out a very popular area. Whether or not you have an antenna here, it does help to have the antenna so you can fix the problem. But you can look all over and find places that water gets in and never realize it's as simple as this spot right here. And I'm going to get up under the dash on the other car. You're going to see it's a spot right back here, but there's a second seam in here. So I'm going to show you that. But really what's happening is the rocker panels here, the rainwater works its way down through the drain hole or in the cowl area, and it just works its way down through here and then into the rocker pans and then out the various drain holes. So after you've cleaned that out, there's a phenomena that happens, sounds kind of funny, that the water actually, before it works its way down, it splashes into this groove. There's a convenient joining of sheet metal here, and I'm going to show you that on the next video, and that's where the problem is, so stay tuned. Okay, I took the glove box out of here some time ago. Here's my floors, by the way. They are underneath there. They appear rust-free, but the surface rust, I clean them off. I put the OSPO on and then the POR 15. I was just cleaning out the dum-dum on these air vents to put the new ones, the new material back in. I got carpets and everything for this thing. But anyway, let's take some moment. Let's see. You can kind of see here, I got the light in place. There, the light is in place. And I'll use a screwdriver to point this out. Okay, right here. It's always fun getting under the dash on these. Let me see if I can get a little bit more. There we go. Okay, you can see the surface rust starting to build up. This is where the windshield sits, right on top of this seam, and you can see where this little hole is. I don't know what that's for, something to do with the raw sheet metal, but you can see the rust building up on the other side in there, and that little drain hole is about right here. But really I wanted to point out this seam right here. Right now I have a water leak, the only one. If I flush water down the windshield, it's going in the cowl area right there where it's supposed to, your fresh air vent area, but it naturally runs along that seam, and there's supposed to be a sealer in there, so it's broken down right where that seam is. So what I'm going to do, that's this seam here, by the way. Let's look at it at a different angle. See where these two pieces of sheet metal come together here? That's where the windlace normally would go. Well, up in here, in this area, which you can't get to here, well, you can look down here and see it down in there. But I'm going to put some of that, I've got the can around here somewhere, the rubberized spray from the inside of the cowl, or maybe I can line that dum-dum up if I can get to it from the where the radio antenna is. If I can't get it to it that way, then I'm going to attempt to seal it right here from the inside. But that's the second case scenario there. So while we're on the same subject, I did want to cover that. And feel free, in your car, to get under and look at all these seams underneath there and identify if any rust has worked its way through. Got an airplane coming overhead. Alright, just like I thought, that seam, you can see, I'm going to put the light here, and you can see it through here. Watch this. Hold on a second, let me get it set up for you. There we go. There's that seam. When the windshield area drains, the water runs right down that seam. That's the best light I can get on it for the camera. But let's see how easy it is to access through the antenna hole. So if you could seal that up, you can stop the water. So I'm going to actually back the car out onto the driveway. I'm going to hose this down. And also, if you look straight down, this I don't know if you could see. Yeah, I have a special light for this, but it won't work with this camera. If you look straight down that hole, you'll see a shelf area that, to demonstrate, that shelf area stops. That shelf area stops right about here. See where it goes concave, where the door is? And there's a channel that water can go down, but that can be blocked too. So whenever you got this area opened up, you definitely want to address all that before you close it up. So this area is right under this spot. So run a vacuum through there, clean it up, flush the rocker panels, open up the drain holes and everything, and flush all that through. That's another important spot. So that seam you were looking at, there's that hole again. That's right behind here, and that's where the water comes down. It ruins your floorboards. All right. Okay, Garmin, stop recording. This was just a bare bones 500. I did throw a Monza wheel. I got to finish that on here, and I just wanted a basic. I wanted a Corvair that, I love the four doors, but I wanted a car that just handled better than it looked. So this car has all new suspension parts. I mean, the whole front and rear suspension, urethane, everything. A couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I just had it aligned by the best guy in town, and it is just fun to drive, getting it around corners with the 16-inch wheels and the Continentals. It hangs up really nice. I'll show you those real quick. It's hard to find 16-inch wheels with the right offset. So there's what we have here. Nothing to write home about, but they do handle well. They're not oversized. The speedometer is perfect. It's better than it was. Yeah, there's the old piece of junk tires that were on there. So again, this is kind of a sleeper. Yeah, from sitting in Fairbury, Nebraska since 1980 is when the last tags were done. That water came down from the ceiling, and that's where the rust came from, and that's where this rust was cowling. This is a California-built, assembled car, and but it started life in Nebraska, and then it returned to the same place in Fairbury, Nebraska. So I imagine that was just from the mice that packed stuff in there, and then water sitting and sitting and sitting. So underneath there is no rust under this car. It's in excellent shape. So we'll put it up on a lift and do a video of that sometime. But being a Power Glide, why not? I'm going to autocross this car. It's set up for that, just a straight 110, stock 110, nothing fancy.